I had always been interested in writing an opera, perhaps not an opera in the traditional sense, but rather an opera that integrated elements of multimedia, things like video and electronics. Something that I knew I wanted to explore was this idea of psychological decay or deterioration. The opera is an adaptation of a novel by the author Knut Hamsun. Essentially, the original story deals with a writer, an author, who's struggling to survive and make a living, but unwilling to compromise his artistic integrity by taking jobs outside of his creative work. Because of this, he's homeless and starving, and his mind is gradually deteriorating. The whole idea is the protagonist is splintered. So he's divided into two parts, an inner self and an outer self, which are the composite of the baritone role and the soprano role. The soprano represents irrational thought, and much of the material for the soprano role actually is muttering or indefinite pitch materials, whereas the baritone represents the outer self, the sort of outer man. And Olivia, the sort of love interest, appears in different manifestations as an employee of a blood bank and of a sperm bank and later a butcher shop. The electric guitar is something that I was drawn to, and I was really interested in using the guitar in an unconventional way. And another thing that takes place, particularly in the wind parts, are vocalizations for the winds themselves. So the bass clarinet might have a growling sound, or the saxophone might have a growling sound that is produced while playing the instrument. In many cases, the baritone sax and also the bass clarinet represent this idea of the protagonist becoming a dog. He really despises himself. He despises his baseness. There are a few question marks throughout the opera, things that are never really meant to be completely revealed. Trying to capture that sense of being trapped inside one's mind, or being trapped inside someone else's mind in an operatic setting is, I think, a very difficult thing to do.